Hello, Beetle. I'm East Coast Pete, and this is Midrock Crisis. Here's a band you may or may not have heard of. They're named Curved Air. Just like the Pretty Things, this band was big in Britain, but not in the US. They should have been. Far sexier than fellow proggers Kansas. And a violin maestro. And sex appeal to boot. 1970s saw prog folk fusion in England, popularized by the Straubs, Fairport Convention, and Jethro Tull. Folk rock in the West on this side of the pond was Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young, the Eagles, America, the Byrds, great and good, but prog not. Curved Air evolved from Sisyphus. Darrell Way brought his electric violin. Francis Monkman brought the rest. These two found common ground in their respect for Randy California and his U.S. band spirit. And I totally get that. Then Sonia Christina was acquired to sing. They named the band Curved Air after a Terry Riley album called A Rainbow in Curved Air. It's an early Moog synthesizer showcase. Curved Air gained notoriety, opening some early Black Sabbath shows. They signed with Ozzy's label, Warner. Curved Air released the album Air Conditioning. Vibrato vocals, dense guitar, and piano rock with flurries and flourishes from Way's electric violin. Warm, forlorn, and pastoral. Air held pressure with jazzy bass lines and solid drumming. Sonia parks her vocals right in your lap on the second side, singing softly but right in your ear. In 1971, the second album, that's what it was called, the second album. It peaked at number 11 on the Brit chart, Sebastian Bach rock. But will the teeny bopper fans get antsy with all the Vivaldi? Donovan Leitch inspired vocals on Blind Man track. Back Saint Love, a gorgeous and successful single. And Warner didn't give them any help with their album sleeve art. Hypnosis, it's not. Jumbo Track is vaguely unnerving, Ophelia-like. Monkman's guitar sounds much better than in the first album, but guitar sounds are not what you listen for in a Curved Air album. Side 2 is all Monkman, and he was having disagreements with violinist Way. Boys. 1972, the album Phantasmagoria, sublime, both sides, and I was hooked. I like the straightforward presentation, prog without bombast, a carnal music when everything is working. 1972, Aircut. A pre-Police Stuart Copeland played drums with the band at this time. The band had had 19 different lineup changes by the time they let the air out of the tires. This album was my first exposure to Curved Air. My college friend played it for me and later gave me his records as he was leaving school to become a Zen monk. The album Love Child was put out. It was a bootleg put out by the Warner people without the band's permission. It may be of interest to fans, but it sounds unfinished. And their next album, Midnight Wire, sounds a bit like Heart. Less proggy and more lounge lascivious. Mr. Monkman had left. There was a vacancy in the keyboard position. The Airborne album, this was Last Licks, until reforming in the 90s to tour. They were a good band in their day, but they did not age well. Early albums are still magic. Sonia Christina is part of a new contingent of English folk singers who would contrive to splice fresh shoots of progressive folk onto the tree of rock. Hope you enjoyed my show. Like if you hit like, don't if you don't.